Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, April 7th, 2022. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. Yes, if you focus on what is good, because listen, if you focus on all the negative things, it just makes you feel bad. So focus on what is good. When you focus on the things that make you feel good, the things that are positive, the things that bring light to situations and circumstances, then you feel better. That is why I always say, focus on what is good. Well, I hope everyone had a good Thursday. My day was very productive and good, and I am so thankful for that. Well, the topic of this episode is toxic positivity. That is a term that many people don't know about. It's a term that many people are not familiar with, and I decided to talk about it because, according to some information I read recently, toxic positivity is an obsession with positive thinking. Oh my God. How can you say that is a problem? Toxic positivity. It is the belief that people should put a positive spin on all experiences, even those that are profoundly tragic. Wow, what a definition. I disagree. I mean, that definition is just an opinion that someone gave, and that doesn't mean that their opinion is factually true. My opinion on toxic positivity is when people don't deal with reality. You can't experience something negative and not call it what it is. That's toxic positivity to me. I think that it's okay to feel what you feel, and we all have different types of experiences. We all come from different backgrounds, but we do have to be honest with ourselves. We can't live in a fantasy to be positive. I think that when something happens, when you go through something in life, when you have a feeling within yourself or a thought within your mind, it's okay to call it what it is. But when you put a spin on it and just stay positive and don't be honest about what you're feeling or what you're thinking, to me, that's toxic positivity. But you can never be obsessed with positive thinking. I mean, I think that if you think positive and keep a motivational projection about what you want to experience, I think that's healthy. But the opinion of this, I'm not going to mention the article, but the opinion is toxic positivity is an obsession with positive thinking. I guess that can be a little crazy if somebody is ignoring their reality. So I'm not going to say I disagree with it 100%, but I do partially disagree with it because I believe that we should think positive. But we're going to talk about that topic, and my co-host guest for this episode is Eric Joppy. And I'm so glad that he is here because he is such a awesome spirit. And we're just going to talk about that. And I hope that you are inspired. There was one more thing I wanted to mention. Actually, two more things I wanted to mention before we get started with this topic. If you are out there traveling about, make sure you're keeping yourself safe and just doing your part to stay safe because we are still in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, people are still becoming ill. So make sure you do your part to stay safe. I always remind you of that because I care. And if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $ SBFAVOR, SB Favor, $ SB Favor. Thank you so much for your donations. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to this topic tonight for sure.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Look, I am pumped up and I'm thankful because I had a really, really good productive day, and you can never go wrong when you are productive, right?
I heard that. Yep.
Yes.
It feels good. It feels like you went to the gym. Like you feel like you did something.
Yeah, you exercise your mind when you just set goals and just look forward to something good to happen. Just keep setting goals, and you have something to look forward to when you set goals,
It's so true. And that's what's important, having something to look forward to.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about toxic positivity because all of us have been saturated over the last couple of weeks. Well, not couple of weeks. Well, almost 2 weeks with all this Will Smith and Chris Rock stuff, right? And so, a lot of people have been asking, SB, what do you think? What do you think? Well, you know what? Real quick, I'm just going to say this. None of us have the right to put our hands on another person, right?
Okay.
And none of us have the right to speak offensively to another person either, right? So both people, being adults, have the responsibility and an account to be responsible for their actions. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
I mean, I hear you on that.
And that's it. We can't call something positive that's really negative. Some people say, oh, well, he was protecting his wife. Well, you can't protect your wife in a negative way. You understand what I'm saying? There's a way to do things.
I get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I get it, and I see two sides of it, and I don't know if it's my personality or just how I am made, but I always see multiple sides of things. And for me, I feel like we live in a jungle. We are animals too. We forget that. We have instincts, and we have things that are going on that we have to try to manage, and we don't know who's on the brink of insanity.
Right.
And so it's like sometimes we have to remember that we can't go poking every bear.
That's
because
true.
We just don't know where that bear is.
That's
and
true.
What that bear has been going through. And you might say that word. Words are powerful. You may say that word that's going to make the bear snap.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes it's like we're not supposed to touch each other. Yeah, we're supposed to be respectful and all of that. But then we are animals too. And sometimes animal instinct takes over.
That's true. That's very true. I just pray that Will Smith can continue to thrive and be the best he can be. And I also pray that Chris Rock will continue to thrive and be the best that he can be. Because at the end of the day, you know what? All of us have messed up in some kind of way, and we all had to recover from something. And, we need to forgive and move on. We can't just keep focusing on, Will is this and Chris is that. We all have to extend grace in this moment to each other. What'd you say?
Exactly. Yes. Perfect. Everything you just said.
Yeah, so that's my take on it, people, because so many people keep asking me.
And also, too, a part of me feels like that was on purpose. That was a behind the scenes, on purpose thing to keep us distracted, because there's so many things going on.
True.
I believe that the people who try to keep power of our society do things to put us in certain mind states so they can harness our energy. The more energy that we have on something, the more energy that they can harness. So I feel like this is a convenient time to do something that's going to make everybody talk. Because at the end of the day, you can't just attack somebody on national TV or a national award show and then just be fine and we just have a debate about it. If it was real, then it would have been like a big deal. It would have been a lot bigger of a deal. Yeah, he wouldn't have just went on to win the award an hour later or whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that there was more to it than just what we actually saw, because it didn't make sense. But we're going to move on to our topic, because we could talk about this and just go on and on. But you know what? Let me ask you this. What does toxic positivity mean to you? Because a lot of people don't really know what it means. When you hear that term.
That's a good one, too, because it seems like there could be so many different branches of toxic positivity. Like one instance can be like people who don't, I think you mentioned this already, who don't really are not being honest. They're just saying the words they think they need to say to make other people happy, or to make other people think that they're positive, or just to make other people think. I feel like it's okay to be upset, or okay to be honest about how you really feel, not to stay there and dwell in it, but to express how you feel in the moment. And if you are robbing yourself of that expression because you think that only positivity wins, only if I act like I'm saying the right things, even if I don't mean it, I feel like then you miss the mark, and you're not really having the right healing experience, because you're not allowing yourself to express all the emotions that you need to.
Exactly.
So it could be toxic if you're just lying to yourself and everyone else just so you can say that you're being positive.
Exactly. I think that if you have a negative thought or emotion that is not good, it's best to acknowledge it, call it what it is when it happens. It's not good to just ignore something and act like everything is okay, because like you just said, you missed the opportunity for healing to manifest, because in that moment when you recognize something, whether it's an emotion or a thought, you have an opportunity to go in the direction of healing in that moment, because you get to choose what you agree with within your mind. There's a scripture in the Bible that says two cannot walk together unless they be agreed. So if you're having a negative thought, you don't have to agree with it, but you can acknowledge that you're having a negative thought, right?
Yes.
And
that's
so,
how you can stay present
exactly.
and really stay in touch with how you feel.
Exactly. And when you have a negative emotion, recognize and acknowledge that negative emotion. Call it what it is. Even if you have to take notes and journal about, hey, this is how I feel. This is what triggered me. This is what provoked me. Whatever that thing is, I would just sit down and just write it all out. I used to do this.
So right.
I used to do this thing called what is my attitude? And every now and then I do it. Not as much as I used to, but I used to write down, what is my attitude? And why do I think this way? And why did I feel that way? And once I would write to myself, right? I would go back and I would look at it. And when I read it, I could understand now from reading it, the patterns of behaviors, whether it was me or somebody else. So
yes,
I would learn that way. And if I seen the same type of behavior in somebody else, I wasn't quick to judge, but at least I understood it.
Mm-hmm. That is so good, because a lot of times you don't even realize why you feel the way you feel, or you can be reacting in a way, and then other people will tell you that's how you're reacting. You're like, no, I don't react like that. I don't care about that. When you don't realize your own self. Right. So writing things down will definitely help you pinpoint what it is, that you can say, oh yeah, look, I go back last week, I did feel that way 3 times, so maybe I do feel like that. So it's like, that's so good, because most times we don't realize who we are and how we react to things.
Yeah, the greatest thing we can do as individuals is to learn about ourselves progressively every single day. If you are working on yourself, and even if you're not working on yourself, because some of those people just, they're just living, right? So, I mean, by all means, to each his own. But what I'm saying is, progressively evaluate yourself, progressively look at yourself. Don't just look at the outside and say, I'm fly and I look good, or I'm this and I'm that. But, do inventory on your attitude. Do inventory on what are you thinking? You know what I'm saying? But when you feel a certain way, remember, it's good to acknowledge it. I think that being optimistic helps us to project what is good so that we can have a better outcome. Because some people...
It's important.
Yeah. Some people would say, oh, well, everything, it might work out, but it may not work out. But even if it doesn't work out, guess what? You still can be optimistic. You can still project what is good, but don't ignore it, act like it's not happening. Lie. Right? Because that's toxic positivity. That's toxic.
That's toxic.
Yeah.
That's toxic, because you're not allowing yourself, now your body and your mind are still confused, because it's like the body knows it feels some way, but the brain is telling you, no, that's not right. So then now you have this cognitive dissonance, because the body feels one way and the brain is lying to the body, but the body believes the brain. However, the body still knows that it has this feeling inside of it. So it's like, yeah, they say fake it till you make it. That's part of it too. But you can only fake it till you make it when you acknowledge what it is that you're trying to change.
Right.
So if you're a pessimist person, you're trying to fake optimism just so you can gain that personality or thought process. It's important that you acknowledge that you're a pessimist first. Yeah. And this is what you're trying to change, versus not acknowledging that and just acting like you're optimistic.
Yeah. Toxic positivity is also false assurance. It doesn't give empathy to other people. It actually stops others from being themselves. It's almost like, okay, the person that's projecting that toxic positivity will tell somebody, oh, you shouldn't be grieving. oh, you shouldn't be doing this, or you shouldn't be doing, when it comes to who the next person is, they will tell them what they should be doing. In fact, they will actually tell others to stop being human, so to speak.
Yes, and acting like they have all the answers.
Right.
Acting like, that is so right. I've met so many people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, allow me a moment to feel this way. Stop trying to change, or lift me up or talk positivity. Like, sometimes people just want to be heard.
Exactly.
And don't want to pep talk.
Right. Exact. That too. My daughter, one day, she was going through something, and she called me and she says, Mom, this is what's going on. And I said, well, just learn something from the experience. And as a mom, quite naturally, you want to say something positive. I mean, that's just, that's being a mom. That's just it. You don't want to say, well, that's on you. I'll talk to you later, but you want to be positive. You don't want to say grow up, you want to be positive. You want to be sweet. You want to be nurturing. That's what mothers do. Right. So she was telling me what was going on concerning her home. And so I said to her, just learn something from the process, and you got to be patient, because she was trying to accomplish something, and there were some delays in the process of what she was trying to accomplish. And so I said to her, look at it as if God is just trying to help you to just make an adjustment in the in-between space. And she listened, and then she said, Mom, can I just have a moment to just feel what I'm feeling?
Right, exactly. You know what? Both sides are right. Both sides are right. That's what she needs at the moment, and that's so amazing that she was able to even know that that's what she needed.
Right. But you know what,
that's
Eric?
So cool.
I was really trying to, in that moment, I was trying to help her not to bask in the emotion. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because a lot of us have woke up in the morning and decided we was having a bad day and put the covers back over our head. Come on now. And
tell the truth.
Right. And so, and what I'm saying is, if you have a feeling, don't stay there. Acknowledge it, journal about it, pray about it, but don't stay there. Don't get into the toxic positivity of everything's okay, but it's really not okay.
And also we have to remember. Oh, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
No,
excuse me.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. It's okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say also, we have to realize that it could be someone else's emotions. Sometimes we can pick up other people's emotions, or somebody can say something to us that put us in a mood, and we find ourselves stuck in this like lethargic place where it's not even naturally how we're really feeling. Like, everything could be going good in your life, but somehow you just feel like this sadness, like you did something wrong when there's nothing wrong you did.
Right.
Those times it could be somebody else's emotions that rubs off on you, or it can just be like old emotions that were trapped, that were released in the body. So a lot of times we just have to acknowledge the emotion, like you say, and let it pass through. And if you just get out of its way and say, you know what, I'm feeling like this, I don't even understand why. Yeah. But I'm going to let it process. I'm going to let it flow. And I'm going to continue on with what I'm doing and be grateful for the moment. Right. And all of a sudden, that emotion will go away. Yes. And you won't have it trapped in you anymore. Sometimes it just needs the space to flow through your body.
Absolutely. And just in the moment, change how we think. It's important. I always say that, to change how you think. I think that when you, right in the moment, if we practice, like you said, Eric, being in the actual moment, when you get a thought and you catch it, that's a powerful thing. That's powerful. When you catch it and you tell yourself, no, I'm not going to allow myself to feel that way. I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm going to acknowledge it, but I'm not going to stay there. But the person that operates in a toxic positivity will say, I'm not really feeling that. That's not what I'm feeling. Let me move on. Yes. No.
And guess what? It gets stuck. It gets stuck right in their body.
It gets stuck.
And accumulates.
Yes, it will. And then what happens after that is, because that person is not acknowledging how they really feel, they're not being honest with themselves. What happens with that is later, that person will project all that negativity onto somebody else.
Thank you. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And you know why they will project it? Because they don't know how they feel. You lose touch with who you are and how you're presenting to the world and what you're giving to the world when you don't acknowledge how you really feel.
That's right.
You lose touch. So it's like that cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
You act one way and you say one thing, but the energy coming off of it is a whole other thing.
Yes. We just have to learn how to be in the moment, whether it be your feelings or your thoughts and your experience overall, your experiences in your relationships. I'm not talking about being analytical, but I'm talking about doing an honest evaluation of what's happening within you, in your thoughts, around you, and just sorting it out so that you can have the clarity that you need to get to the next place spiritually, intellectually. Because when you evaluate those things in that order, what happens is you elevate. You elevate because your learning increases and your clarity increases.
Your sense of confidence increases.
That's right.
Self-awareness increases.
That's right. That's right.
You take your power back because now you know how you feel. Whether it's good or bad, you know. So nobody can tell you who you are and how you feel. That's confidence.
That's confidence.
Like nobody can throw anything in your face if you own it already. That's
right. That's right. And that is why toxic positivity has to be done away with, first by being honest and to stop hiding how you really feel. Don't ignore problems. Don't ignore problems, because being positive is not a fantasy. Being positive is
work.
That's right. It's work, but it is the act of being proactive and honest with yourself, being steadfast in hope and in faith. That's what being positive is. That's my definition. That's the SB definition.
That sums it up perfectly.
Yes.
Because positivity doesn't mean that everything is always perfect. Positivity just means that you're taking the higher road out of it. You're staying above it. You're thinking from your higher mind.
Being positive is a place to elevate. Just remember that. Being positive is a place to elevate. It's not a fantasy. It's not a place to be alienated or make others that way. It's a place of being optimistic. It's a place of projecting what is good. It's a place to gain clarity, to be progressively in that place of hope and faith. That's what being positive is. Being positive is not just fault finding other people and say, oh, you this and you this. You're not being positive because you are having a challenging day. All of us have a challenging day sometimes, right?
Yep.
Yes. So when we have a challenging day, call it what it is. Don't hide or ignore what you're going through, but call it what it is.
You don't have to get stuck in it. You don't have to dig into the feeling, but like you said, call it what it is. This is how I feel right now, and I'm going to keep it moving forward.
Yes.
And I'm going to allow myself the space to process this. And in the meantime, I'm going to think positive thoughts and let myself know that I know that this is going to pass. And I'm blessed.
That's right. Because honesty frees us. You know, honesty will free you from anything. Even if it's the worst thing about yourself. If you are honest, you don't have to tell everybody, but just be honest. Be honest with yourself. And be honest with God, because guess what? He sees everything anyway.
Exactly. And the only way to call it to the front and to get it out of you is to be honest and acknowledge it.
That's right.
Like for me personally, what took me a long time in my last relationship, I know I brought that up last time, but was to acknowledge that I was jealous.
Oh, wow.
I always felt like, I'm not jealous. Like, what do I have to be jealous about? But I realized, oh my gosh, I am such a possessive person in a relationship. And I can be very jealous. These are things that I've, worked out and I'm working out still. It's going to always be something I have to focus on and work on. But, it's like, and it took me so long to acknowledge, maybe I'm jealous. Yes, I am jealous. And once I said that, I was able to take my power back and I started to, work on it. And now if anyone said it to me, it wasn't like it was so shocking to me. It was like, yep, I am, and I'm working on it. It was
Well,
like it wasn't hard anymore. It wasn't embarrassing
wow.
anymore.
Wow. Well, I got to tell on myself too. I used to be very judgmental. I used to be. And I say used to
I think
be.
we all are.
You know why? I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I used to be judgmental because I love to see people prosper. I love to see people being their best self. I love to see excellence. And so this was many, many years ago now, okay, because I'm doing the work. But what happened was I would see people and I would look at them like, oh, they not trying. Oh, they not. Oh, I had that, oh, they not. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had that kind of attitude. And then one day, I thought to myself, and I actually had a spiritual experience where I knew it was God speaking to my heart. He was saying, see through the lens of love, whether people are up or down. Make sure you see them through the lens of love. Do not esteem yourself higher, but see them through
self-righteousness.
That's right. So he said, see them through the lens of love. And so from that point on, I'm just very conscientious about making sure I'm not judging nobody. I don't.
I think that's all of us, though. I think that's all of us, because judgment is there for a reason. We have to be able to assess the situation and assess if the person is safe or not. We have to judge.
Yeah.
However, we can't put ideas on that person or think, like you said, that they're not trying hard enough when you don't really know the whole story
critically.
And that just and that just makes it like a self-righteous thing. Like, I'm doing it right. Look at them not doing it.
Exactly.
Like, I have to catch myself too. And I think we all have to do that. Like, nope, that has nothing to do with me. Right. I have my own challenges and my own strengths, and I'm just going to focus on myself and have compassion for that other person, because I don't know what they're going through.
Exactly. And that's what came to me when I had that spiritual experience. And I'm very thankful now. And so when I see people that make excuses, with love, I say, you don't make excuses. Or if I see something or have a conversation with someone, and if it's something I don't like, I'm not judgmental. I just try to understand their side versus drawing a conclusion about something with an opinion, So, but we all
That's
have.
so good, because we're all at different places. We all wake up, quote unquote, at our own time.
Exactly, and we all have messed up and had to recover, and so Will Smith.
And that's gonna be life.
Yeah, and Will Smith will be okay, and Chris Rock will be okay, and God has blessed all of us in so many different ways on different levels and different ways, like I said. But we all have to continue to do the work, and we all have to be honest with ourselves to just be better, right? Right, Eric?
That is so true. And I always say, too, like, when I think of, like, angels, guardian angels, and God, and I think of, like, in the cosmic sense of it and source energy of God, or whoever is above us, our ancestors. I think, you know what? There have been so many times where I was low in my life in a hot mess, and they never gave up on me. They never stopped protecting me. Wow. They never stopped having faith that I'm going to get to where I'm supposed to get.
Amen.
So it's like, oh my gosh, if they can do that for me, why can't I do that for somebody else? And not like just let somebody walk over top of me, or not like just be patient and let somebody keep messing up, but to not judge them, to not write them off, to not judge them as this or that because they're struggling with something.
Exactly.
Because if that happened to me, I would never get to where I was.
I love that. That's beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing to understand we all have value, and yes. I'm glad that this topic, toxic positivity, and what is the pros and cons of knowing when you are operating in toxic positivity versus the true positivity. We have to be honest about that, and so that's why I wanted to talk about it. I was reading some information earlier, and it was just all these different opinions, and I said to myself, I can't talk about all these different opinions because everybody had a different take on what is toxic positivity. But my take on it is just like I said, not ignoring problems, being honest. That's just my take on what not to function in toxic positivity. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, good. That's so true. And I was going to say that, people will recognize real. People can recognize when you're being fake positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most irritating feeling. When somebody is just spewing off words to you and trying to act all holier than thou and trying to pep talk it and not really acknowledging what you're saying and how you feel.
Right.
I feel like people can sense that like a canine.
Yeah.
So it's like you might as well be honest, because if you're being fake positive, they'll notice that, and your words aren't going to reach them at all.
Yeah.
It's going to annoy them.
Exactly. And we must, I got to say it again, we must have empathy for others. We must understand when people are going through something. We must be willing to listen to them, and understand that it's okay to acknowledge what you feel. It's okay to acknowledge what you're thinking. It's okay, but don't stay there. If it's something negative, don't stay there. And if somebody is projecting toxic positivity to you, saying, get over it, that's toxic positivity. Telling somebody, oh, just get over it, you'll be okay, just be positive. That's no. Because words have content. Words bring a feeling. Words bring an emotion. And so if somebody's saying something to you and the words have the wrong delivery, that's toxic positivity too. They're trying to be positive. They're saying something that's positive, but their delivery is just toxic. That's toxic positivity.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Sticks and stones break my bones. Words hurt me longer. Yeah. Words really seep in there because it gives your mind time to process it and interpret it its own way. I was going to say on the back of yours, when you're saying that it's okay, to acknowledge how you feel, the different emotions, and also it is necessary that you know that your body needs all these different emotions, because it's your guiding system, and lets you know when it's time to go, when it's time to stay, when this is right, when this is wrong. Oh, I made a mistake, I can't do that again. Yes. Oh, I love this person, I didn't realize I do, because your emotions are there for a reason. That's right. The different ones. Yes. So just positive. If you were just positive, you would miss the human experience. Your soul would not gain any knowledge.
Yeah, that's awesome, because you use the word guide, and when you think about that type of example, your emotions being a guide. You said when it's time to leave, when it's time to stay, what to do, because that's your guide. That's discernment too, but I don't want to get into that because we can.
Discernment, yep.
We're going to talk about
that.
True. Yeah, we're going to talk about that soon. But thank you so much, Eric, for once again taking the time to be here, and I want to have you back again because I like this. I like this flow we have, and I'm trying to do some new things for the podcast, and tomorrow I'm going to talk about relationships, and
oh boy, for 2 hours.
So that should be quite interesting. But thank you once again, Eric, and give out your information for your business. I want people to know where you are. Tell them what you do, Eric.
Thank you. I am a licensed massage therapist in New York City, and I offer in-home and in-studio massage, meaning you can come to me. Mm-hmm. And I, like SB saying about the emotions, I incorporate emotional, spiritual, and physical health in my work. So it's not just a rubbing on your body. It's to release your emotions too, and to help you connect with yourself on a deeper level. I'm on Instagram at Sense Fuel Massage. That's SENSEFUEL Massage. And my website is the same thing, sensefuelmassage.com.
Awesome. Were you done? Go ahead.
I was gonna spell it again, but I hope that makes sense.
Go ahead. Spell it, Eric.
Sense, SENSEFUEL. Sense like your senses, fuel like you fuel a car.
Sense fuel, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know when you say it, sometimes it's like, what did he say?
Yeah, I like that name. I like it a lot. Well, we're going to conclude this episode of SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and so Eric, I'm going to have you back again soon because, like I said, I like this flow. And so, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SB Favor. I have a TikTok handle. I am not dancing over there. I do have inspirational and motivational content there. So please, at SB Favor, TikTok. And you can also find me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of those great places where you can find podcasts. Anywhere podcasts are heard, you can find me. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click like, click the bell so that you can receive a notification each time there are new episodes of SB Favor Thinking Podcast. And make sure you leave me some feedback. Share the podcast with others. And one more thing before we leave, I got to remind you of this. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Your donations are greatly appreciated because every dime is toward the progression of this inspirational podcast. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. You have a good day.